I know a few weeks ago, a few months ago, that I did a poll on all my social media and I asked you guys, do you want to see manga hauls on my channel? And I got an overwhelming yes, but I'm going to do something a little bit different. Hello friends, happy Friday, so glad you're here. I was originally going to use this day to post a quarterly manga haul that I was going to do moving forward with my channel, but I just couldn't seem to get fully on board of doing a manga haul. I can't give you a direct answer as to why. I don't know. I've just sort of always felt that way, and I have, for me personally, when I try to film manga hauls in the past, I was not overly excited about them. I don't think there's anything wrong with them, and kudos to all of the manga that do. And so I'm sort of glad though that I've been thinking about that and just the timing of things, because this video is very much inspired from some things that have been happening behind the scenes. One of those things is very recently my husband kindly sat me down and he said, hey, could you cut back a little bit on your spending on manga and pens? And he was so sweet and so kind, and I was like, okay, it's time for me to get my act together. I told him at the beginning of this year that I was going to strive really hard to cut down on my manga spending because we're just trying to get some debt down. And obviously if I'm buying a bunch of manga, I mean, not just me, but if that's not helping get the debt down, it's not getting it up because I do not go in debt to buy manga, but again, it's not helping the debt go down. So when he was so kind and I could see the earnestness behind his words, I was like, it's time. It's time again for me to actually stick to a manga budget, because earlier this year, me and my friend Bizarre Individual, I will leave his link here and I'll leave it down below. He is my accountability partner and a fantastic friend. I am so grateful for his friendship. He has been so deeply encouraging. These past few weeks, I have been praying in earnest that God would help me with my self-control, because I am not going to deny self-control is not one of my strong suits at all. If I see a very shiny thing, whether that's metal in the form of a pen or I see a new manga that I'm very interested in, I want it. That's always a bad thing, but when you're trying to stick to a budget, it's not a good thing. And so I don't know what happened or what led to it, but me and Bizarre started talking and he's like, hey, I am sort of doing a side hustle to help pay for extra manga. And I watched his video that he did. It's so good. It's right here. Please go check it out. I'm very excited for this video series that he is doing. It was very inspiring to me personally, especially when him and I talked about a budget. He has been one of my friends that I've really appreciated talking about. We're spending too much, we need to cut back down, and he has helped me at a variety of times, helped me to, I don't know if I personally have made the best of decisions of cutting back, but I know from our conversations I have been much more mindful this year in actually tracking my spending, and it's a little bit outrageous. I'm not going to go into detail about how much I've spent or what even my personal budget is, but after that video and us talking, I just had this sudden inspiration, and I am so thankful, praise God, because I've been praying in earnest, looking for a solution. I tried looking up things about how to budget, and I just felt like I was not finding the exact answer I needed. And also too, a shout out to my friend, the Banana Collective on Instagram. She was sharing some things going on in her life, and she shared a quote about, because we were talking about needing to cut back on our manga spending. And I'm like, apparently there is a lot of us out there, just we don't talk about it often. And that's why I wanted to film this video, because this isn't a like how to or help other people of how to keep a budget for your manga spending or just your hobbies. That's not it. This is just me sharing and wanting to keep myself accountable. And just as I was going back sharing with the Banana Collective, she had shared a quote. I can't remember the exact quote here, but I will leave it here. And it was very encouraging because she was specifically talking about figurines and how they go out of stock, and once they're out of stock, that's it. And pins, enamel pins, are the same way. They're a limited edition kind of thing, and you know, once they're out, and you just have to hope and pray that nobody scalps the pin that you were really interested in that you could not pick up at that time. I struggle more with that, and this year I did cut back on some of my manga spending compared to last year, but then this month is a very prime example. I was like, yeah, I'm doing so good with my manga spending. And then I look at my notebook and I'm like, Laura, you've used that money for pens, but you're not getting rid of your manga at the same time. I'm like, no, you were not successful in keeping your budget. So as I was sharing before, when I was talking to Bazaar, I think either we had just got done talking and I had this idea. I went online again and I was like, after I watched Bazaar's video, I was like, let me go see if I could just find something about budgeting. And a lot of different things have come up. I think it's called money stuffing. I have heard of it. I don't know a lot about it, and I purposely didn't do a lot of research because I'm like, I just need what I think is going to work for me, and that's it. Where basically, say you have like your bills, then you have needs, wants, and then maybe some other things, and you use your paycheck and you take physical money, physical dollars, and you stuff it into these envelopes, or some of people use binders, whatever works for them, and they stuff it in there. And I'm like, okay, that would be really great for me if it was reversed. And so I was like, I'm going to try a reverse money stuffing. Whatever my budget is, again, I'm not going to say because that's just between me and my husband and my family, I feel. But I'm going to take that money, whatever it is set for that monthly budget, I'm going to put it in my envelope, and I'm going to use that to help dictate my pen purchases as well as the manga I'm buying. And once that money is gone, it's gone. And I was so thankful because many years ago, I mean, it's been like 2-3 years ago, my mom bought me this journal and I really loved it. I love the message on it. It was very beautiful. And I'm like, okay, I don't want to just use this randomly. And so I've kept it in my dresser in a bag of all things and waited for that moment. And I was like, this is my moment. I'm like, I'm going to use this as my reverse money stuffer to keep track of my manga spending and my pen buying. And it's really cool because I didn't want to do like, when I saw some people had binders, that was part of the inspiration for this. So I made this little money stuffer. I don't have any money in there right now, but where you can slide the money in here. And I did Suga because I'm like, I have to have my Haikyuu boys because they are just so inspiring to me and I love them. And I just felt like this is an extra level of inspiration for me personally. But every month I'm going to put just for that month alone because I feel like that's the easiest and I didn't want to use a bunch of paper. And that's just what I'm going to do. It just felt great for me personally. But each month I'm like, I'm going to put the money in here and keep track of that. I did go ahead and cover some of it here, but I went ahead and did June. My goal for this was not to make it pretty. I just wanted to use a Haikyuu sticker and then just put whatever month it is. And I had to write out what I bought. I had to be very specific. I couldn't just say I bought a pin. Like for the first one, I said I bought a Snow White the Red Hair pin made by Annie's Collection Club, and it was $24. And so I wrote that so when I go back at the end of the month, I knew exactly what I had bought and purchased that month. And then as the month goes on, I haven't wrote any manga there. They're all pen purchases, but when I receive manga in the mail and I've been charged or whatever, I'm going to write it down in this notebook, the exact volume, what manga it was, and then the exact cost of it. I'm going to use that and I'm hoping and praying that it works. So far, I'm going to say it has, even though right now at this moment, I don't have any physical money in there because I just don't carry cash on me like that. The act of visualizing that I have that physical money in there in that envelope that I showed with Suga has really made a difference because I'm sort of a junkie when it comes to pre-ordering. Like I have stuff pre-ordered all the way out to January as of this morning because Age Matters was on sale, but I definitely have almost all my pre-orders at least up to September, I believe that it is. And then I have things going into December. So I have this written down for all my pre-orders. I've had a lot of scribbles because the past 2 days it's been hard, okay? Like I'm just gonna say right now, keeping to a budget and being not just where you're like, okay, and this was my problem, I'm gonna say a budget. I'm gonna say that $50 is my budget and I say, okay, $50 is my budget, I cannot go over this. That's what I did at the beginning of January. And I'm like, well, actually it's more February because January everybody was sick, but let's just say February, that is my budget. And I was like, okay, I've got this budget. I'm going to use this to dictate my purchases. And nothing really happened those first few months. I'm going to be honest. I mean, I started recording what I wrote down, but I'm like, I'm not going to really pay attention to the number. Laura, that defeats the point, does it not? Did anybody else think that? Like that defeats the point if you're being ignorant about the numbers. I mean, I still wrote them down, but it wasn't until the end of the month where I was like, oh my gosh, I added everything up and it was triple above what my budget is supposed to be. But then as things have been going on, so my husband was kindly asked me, and then I had that conversation with Bazaar, and that's not our first time me and Bazaar have had that conversation, but I am just, guys, I am so proud of Bazaar. He is so great, guys. Go cheer him on in that video and tell him he is doing awesome, because I have just really admired how he just how he has shared things of how he's trying to keep his budget. Like I feel like he's rocking it. He may not feel he is, but he's rocking it, guys. But talking with him as well, including that, and then like I said, visualizing taking that money out, really was like, well, I don't want to just take that money out for anything. I want to take it out for the things I'm most excited for. So I went to my hand-to-hand pre-order sheet, and it works for me, to be honest. I just this morning went through January and February releases that are already out on Amazon that I was interested in, that I was aware of anyway, and it helps me to look ahead. That may not be true for every person. I know that's like 6 months in advance, but doing that I feel like was very critical of this moment. And it was, I think I was trying to say earlier, sorry, I know this video is sort of scattered. It was really hard. And I just want to say that going forward, you might see like, Laura, you gushed about this series and you loved it, but why are you not reading or reviewing it on your channel anymore? And I just want to say that if I drop a series, it is not because it's bad. It is not because it's bad. It's not because I love it any less, but I am really having to narrow down the titles I am most excited about. I have some of these circled for ones that I have to go cancel on where I go order my manga. It was hard. Like I canceled one series, and I'm not gonna lie that I almost cried because I really, really loved it. But I was like, look, if you had to choose this over these other titles for this same price, would you do it? I really thought on it, and I'm like, no, no, I don't, because I know the other one I could read digital since it's a manhwa. I'm just gonna hope that there be a chance because I do some freelancing as well, and so that does bring in a little bit of extra occasionally. But the thing was, is when I did my budgeting, because I'm not gonna lie, I love pins. Getting fan-made merch is very important to me. It makes me very, very happy. My new budgeting that I have set for myself does not include the pins that I was buying before. And I was like, well, I think I'm going to use that freelancing to help provide for those pins when I see them. Now, the one pin I'm going to say right now that I was like, I'm not doing without, that I'm not going to cancel, are my Haikyuu pins. I have a Patreon membership or subscription or whatever to Aniko, who is one of my favorite Haikyuu pin makers. I love her work so much. And I'm like, that is the one pin. I'm like, if I can only get one pin a month, her pin is it. I'm like, I am not getting rid of it because Haikyuu is a must. Like, I've been trying to get more shoujo pins because I'm like, man, I was like, I have all my Haikyuu guys, but I'm like, I don't have my shoujo girls represented in my room and just in my photos. So I've been trying to get more shoujo merch, which is not a bad thing. But I'm like, if I have to get rid of one, I'm like, my Haikyuu boys can't go nowhere. So I don't know what this says about me. I love them, but I want to use that freelancing. I was like, well, I could use that to buy extra manga for those I'm excited for. And I'm like, I don't know if I can do it because there are some upcoming shoujo pins like of Loving Yamada that I'm really excited for. And I'm like, well, between manga and pens, and I'm already getting manga that I'm really excited for, that I'm like, I want to get the pins. I want to get the pins that I usually couldn't get throughout the month because I'm getting my Haikyuu boys. I know that was a little bit of ramble. I do apologize, but I just want to explain my reasoning for, I guess, some or part of that of my budget was one pin a month and then however many manga. Before I was doing roughly 10 volumes of manga, but that's not quite working. Now I'm trying to do not by the amount of manga because obviously that can very much fluctuate because if you're getting a manhwa, even if you're ordering at a discount, you're still paying $15 compared to say if you were doing a Viz Media manga and you're paying under $10. That really makes a big difference. And with all the amount of manhwa that are coming out, you could easily for say 3 or 4 titles be paying $60 right there. And that doesn't include the other manga that I was getting. So that's sort of, well, that's not sort of, this is my attempt to keep myself accountable by sharing sort of what I am doing moving forward. I really don't know if what I shared made sense of what I was trying to say, but I felt like rather than filming a quarterly manga haul, I wanted to share something just like Bazaar is sharing, where he's encouraging people who are maybe on a budget what they can do to maybe make some changes in his life. He felt one of the better changes he could do is go do a side hustle by doing, I forgot what it's called, but where you go and you pick up orders from restaurants and then you go would deliver them. He felt that was a really good fit for him, and where I'm at right now and how things are in my life, I didn't feel that is something I could personally do at this moment. So I felt the best thing I could do was really be hardcore strict on a budget, cut back, and really think about what are those manga titles that I feel like I just can't live without, that I have to keep collecting, that make me the most excited. I mean, there's plenty of manga that make me excited. I mean, when I get a box of manga, that's always exciting. But out of these ones, these are the ones I'm like, I just need to know what happens next. I love these characters. These are just the fundamental of what I need to be a happy manga reader. And that is not an easy decision, which led to the inspiration of this video that I just wanted to share, like, hey, if you're budgeting, it is hard. I'm not going to say it's not. It has been a teary, emotional mess looking, what do I need to cut back on? Because obviously for many of us, I feel like we love manga and so we want to keep reading it. But sometimes too, we also want to support, maybe for me, I really love being able to support shoujo manga series. Like even if I'm not super fond of it, I want publishers to know I would love to see more shoujo manga in the United States that's licensed. But how things are moving forward, I can't unfortunately do that. And that was really, really hard. I mean, thankfully, buying physical manga or buying merch of any kind isn't the only way to support those creators. There's, you know, liking posts, sharing posts, and all of those things, and just saying like, hey, I love your stuff. Those are big things as well. But I really do like buying manga and buying pens because it really makes me happy. So I hope that this rambly video made sense. My goal moving forward is to quarterly share how I am doing. So the next time I do a video like this, I'm going to share how my attempts went. And I'm saying attempting because it has been a 6-month journey of just trying to keep that budget. But I'm really, really trying this time. I'm thankful for friends who have shared about their struggles with budgeting. And if you're struggling with budgeting as well, please do not hesitate to reach out. We are in this together. You are not alone. It may not be a very vocal thing, especially if you were to go look up on MangaTube. You're gonna see manga hauls are more popular. Again, that's nothing bad about that or anything, but it is hard when you're like, I've got to cut back for XYZ reasons and I really need a friend or a buddy. So I could be one of your buddies. You could be one of my buddies. Like I said, we're in this together. I hope that this video proved helpful. And if you have any tips or advice or just want to share your story, please do not hesitate to share. I am trying to be a sponge, soaking up things from different friends that have shared. It has been very helpful and beneficial to me. So again, please don't hesitate to share. And if you enjoyed this video, please give it a thumbs up and subscribe. I hope you guys are interested in seeing more videos like this. Let me know if you are. Thanks again for watching. Hope you have a great day. Bye!